Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the ECMWF extended model for today's second video. So we're going to be looking at mean sea level pressure anomalies, 500 millibar high anomaly, temperature and precipitation anomalies for the next 6 weeks, next 42 days, taking us well into early January. And I shall get on that view in a second. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in on this Saturday morning. It's a busy day at GavsWeatherVids today. Starting with our 7 AM upload, we've got weekend forecast coming up, 10 to 40 day, and a Christmas update penciled in for today as well. So, you know, very busy day, and I had the day off yesterday, but we're back in business well and truly today, and I shall get on with the second video for you in a second. Thank you so much for ECMWF.INT for supplying the charts. We're going to be focusing on the UK and Ireland for this one, the wider European 30 days / 6 weeks. Okay, we do that on a Tuesday. Right, okay, let's turn the webcam off then, and we'll have a look at week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly, which will take us from the 6th through to the 13th of December, basically next week. So next week going to be dominated by low pressure across western parts of Europe. There is high pressure lurking to the northeast. I'm going to try and bring cold air in from the east, but kept at bay by this area of low pressure. It should keep western Europe somewhat milder. The 500 millibar height anomaly from the Arctic and North Pole view down looks like that. Low pressure in off the Atlantic. Jet stream sort of a line northwest to southeast as well, so it could be rather on the chilly side and unsettled. Though temperature is actually nothing to write home about. It's actually a little bit cooler than average for the UK and Ireland next week, despite being overall rather Atlantic driven pattern, but that's the northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream that's causing that. And it is an unsettled week as well, with above average rainfall predicted, so cool and wet next week for the UK and for Ireland. Let's go through the week 2 then. This will be the 13th to the 20th of December. Now this one does look a lot milder, so this one gets high pressure then building to the south and going northeast. So it's a big area of high pressure coming out of Siberia into western parts of Russia. That's connecting like with the Azores high, if you see what I mean. So with low pressure up here, the upshot with that is turmoil into the southwest, and so consequently you'd expect much of northern western Europe to turn a lot milder with that, particularly northwestern Europe. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like this. There we go. So again, you see we've got this ridge of above average heights from Spain all the way up to like northwestern Russia. That is a Siberian high, pushing out of Siberia into Russia with low pressure around here. The upshot of that is to bring up a southwesterly flow into the west of Europe. So you'd expect this to be a lot milder, and indeed it is. Most parts of Europe turn substantially milder. Average the UK, Ireland is included in that, but you know, virtually all parts of Europe actually are turning significantly milder there. And you'd expect to be drier as well, and that's what we see for week 2. It is going a little bit drier across most parts of the UK and Ireland. It looks pretty dry, doesn't it, across many parts of Europe under that high pressure. So milder but drier there through the middle part of December after a cool, wet start. Moving through to week 3, which takes us through Christmas week, 20th, 27th of December, getting ever closer now. Christmas period, this is how it's looking. So then high pressure sort of builds in over top of the UK. And with that, we probably, and Ireland too, we probably start to bring in some colder air from the east underneath that area of high pressure. So like Germany, France could be getting colder there. But for us, we centre under that high pressure. That's the kind of thing that might be cold if the high is clear. If it's a clear high, that might produce some frost and fog. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that, so just very anticyclonic really across much of northern Europe. We've got low pressure down here. But yeah, very anticyclonic for Christmas if that comes off, and again, you would be expecting some frost and fog with that, I think. The temperature anomaly is getting colder to our south, as we've got like the easterly flow setting in through here, I suppose. For us, we're kind of on the periphery of that. It's a little bit milder actually further north than further south, so we might start pulling some cold air into the south actually with that. And it is very dry as well, as you'd expect under that area of high pressure. So a dry Christmas, anticyclonic Christmas, maybe cold, and particularly best chance of being cold is actually further south. Then go through to week 4, which will be the 27th of December to the 3rd of January. How's that looking? Well, again, even more interesting, because now it looks like the high pressure is centering between Scotland and Norway. So it's starting to become like a Scandinavian high as we get towards the new year. So that would start to bring in even more of an easterly flow potentially into northern and perhaps western parts of Europe. Let's have a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So it shows the area of above average heights there from the UK, but it's backing it in towards Scandinavia. Low pressure down here will bring lots of cold, wet weather through the Mediterranean. We may be starting to pull in a proper easterly there around the new year. What happens to the temperature tonight? That begins to fall away. So week by week around Christmas, New Year, it starts to get colder here across much of northern Europe. Actually, much of Europe turning colder, and you can see the core of the cold is like around Western Russia into the Baltic area, northeastern Europe. Could we be starting to push that in to Central Western Europe? You know, on those easterly winds. Could we? The precipitation anomaly is dry of an average for the UK and for Ireland. That dry weather extending back towards Scandinavia as well. Quite interesting New Year period. Right, week 5 will be the 5th through to the 10th of January. Again, looks much of a muchness, really, with high pressure in control of the weather, sitting somewhere around the UK to Scandinavia. Again, you'd expect winds to be kind of in from an easterly direction. What's the 500 millibar height anomaly doing? Just looking very anticyclonic. Maybe now sort of centred more over to the UK, so possibly losing that easterly influence that I think we might see around the new year. So consequently, it's not quite as cold in this week, actually. Still cold across southern Europe, but for Scandinavia, UK, Ireland, we lose those colder temperature anomalies. We just revert to those signal. Very, very weak signals for precipitation as well. You expect to be quite dry, though. And then week 6 will be the 10th through to 17th of January. Actually gets to the middle of January, halfway through meteorological winter. And look at this. The high pressure then is back in over Scandinavia, properly this time in over Scandinavia. So that is a real, that's really a Scandinavian high. And you can see around that you would bring in the wind from the Urals on an easterly. The 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that. If it can refresh, there it is. So again, we see that the high pressure is there over Scandinavia. Around that comes those easterly winds. I think this is a very interesting update, I have to say, from the ECM this week. Beginning to get a little bit colder again, particularly across these eastern parts of Europe. And again, could we start to push that cold air back into the west of Europe on those easterlies? Precipitation-wise, not much of a signal there. Right, let's go back to there then. So, very interesting update from the ECM this week, the ECM extended. So, we're starting on cool and settled. Next week, quite cold and wet. Going to go milder, dry around the middle part of the month. And then, second half of December, Christmas, New Year, into January. It's a case of watching where we get that high pressure at Scandinavia. If we do, when we bring in the easterly winds, if we do bring in the easterly winds, will they start to push bitterly cold air out of Russia and push it into west of Europe? Lot to keep an eye on then, if this ECM run verifies, and of course we will keep you posted about all of it. To GavsWeatherVids, I have to say this ties in very nicely with the winter forecast that we released on Thursday. So if you have not yet seen that, check it out, and you'll see that this does tie in quite nicely with that. And I shall say no more, because you shouldn't use like one individual model run to back up your long range forecast. That's a big no-no in the weather circles. So I shan't say any more about that, but quite an interesting update from the EC Extended. Right, okay, this week. We'll do it all over again on Tuesday. It might be a wider, European out type forecast. I've got weekend forecast coming for you very shortly. We've got a 10 to 14 day and the slightly delayed 14th Christmas update. So do keep checking back to the channel for more. For this EC 42 day forecast, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.